The hotel ballroom glows with string lights and the buzz of forced cheer. I'm holding a plastic champagne flute, nodding along to small talk near the appetizer table, when my boss appears with his third drink of the night. His tie is loose, his face flushed, and he claps me on the shoulder hard enough that I nearly spill. "Desmond, my man, you already blow through that 12 grand, or are you saving it for something smart?" His voice carries over the music, loud and careless, and the question lands like ice water down my back. My smile locks in place. I don't blink. I don't move. Because I wasn't paid a bonus. Not $12,000. Not anything. The check never came. The deposit never appeared. I've been chasing it for weeks, and now he's asking me about it like it's already spent, like it was real, like everyone got what they were promised. 3 coworkers turn toward us, grinning, waiting for me to laugh or brag or say something clever. I can't. The music keeps thumping, some overdone remix of a holiday classic, but all I hear is the question repeating in my skull. 12 grand. My bonus. The one I earned. The one I was promised in writing. The one that never materialized. My throat tightens. I feel the eyes on me, the casual curiosity of people who assume everything is fine because why wouldn't it be? My boss is still smiling, oblivious, waiting for me to play along. One of the account coordinators raises her glass toward me like she's about to toast. Someone else says something about upgrades and vacations. The moment stretches. I realize I have to say something. Anything. But my brain is stuck on the fact that he thinks I was paid. He believes it happened, which means someone told him it did. I take a breath and force my voice steady. Still waiting on mine, actually. The words come out quieter than I intended, but they cut through the noise. My boss's grin falters. His glass pauses halfway to his mouth, champagne sloshing slightly. He blinks at me like I've just spoken a foreign language. Wait, what? You didn't get it yet. I shake my head, keeping my expression neutral. No, not yet. The color drains from his face. The flush from the alcohol fades in real time, replaced by something pale and uncertain. He lowers his glass slowly, his eyes darting to the side like he's searching for an escape route. That's gotta be a payroll thing. A delay or something. I'll check on it Monday. His voice has lost the confidence. The easy charm is gone. He's stammering now, stumbling over reassurances that sound hollow even as he says them. I nod once, not helping him. Not making this easier. Because I've heard those reassurances before. Behind him, I see the HR director. She's been standing a few feet away, chatting with someone from marketing, but now her attention is locked on us. Her smile has vanished. She's frozen mid-gesture, her champagne flute suspended in the air like someone hit pause on her entire body. Her eyes meet mine for a fraction of a second, and I see it. Recognition. Alarm. The realization that something just went very, very wrong. She lowers her glass slowly, carefully, like she's afraid any sudden movement will draw more attention. Her jaw tightens. She glances at my boss, then back at me, and I can see the calculation happening behind her eyes. She's putting pieces together. She's remembering something. Or realizing she forgot something. Either way, the panic is visible. My boss is still talking, filling the silence with hollow promises about checking systems and following up, but I'm not listening anymore. I'm watching HR. She's watching me. And in that moment, we both know this isn't a payroll delay. The party noise feels distant now, like I'm underwater. My boss sets his glass down on a nearby table and leans in closer, lowering his voice. Look, Desmond, I'm sure it's just a glitch. You know how finance gets during year-end. Things slip through the cracks. I'll call them first thing Monday and sort this out, okay? I nod, but I don't say anything. There's nothing to say. A glitch doesn't explain 2 months of ignored follow-ups. A glitch doesn't explain confirmation emails that led nowhere. A glitch doesn't explain why he thought I'd already been paid when I clearly wasn't. He pats my shoulder again, awkward this time, and mumbles something about grabbing another drink before disappearing into the crowd. I stand there alone, the champagne flute still in my hand, untouched. Around me, People are laughing, dancing, celebrating the end of another year. I feel like I'm watching it all from behind glass. HR is moving now. She's excused herself from her conversation and is walking toward me, her expression carefully neutral. Professional. But I can see the tension in her posture. 6 months earlier, I sat in a conference room with my boss and the regional director, reviewing my performance metrics for the first half of the year. Revenue retention was up 14% in my portfolio. Client satisfaction scores were the highest in the department. I'd personally salvaged 3 major accounts that were on the verge of walking. The regional director nodded along, impressed, and said I was exactly the kind of steady performer they wanted to reward. My boss leaned back in his chair and smiled. "You're in the bonus pool this year, Desmond. No question. Year-end results will determine the final amount, but based on current trajectory, you're looking at strong numbers." I remember feeling relief more than excitement. I'd been with the company for 8 years. I'd watched others get bonuses, get promotions, get recognition while I kept my head down and did the work. This felt like validation, like proof that quiet competence mattered. The regional director shook my hand and said to keep it up. My boss said I'd earned it. I walked out of that room believing them. The rest of the year played out exactly as they'd predicted. Q3 was strong. Q4 was stronger. I hit every target. When 2 senior account managers left in October, I absorbed their portfolios without complaint, managing 18 clients instead of my usual 12. I worked late, came in early, handled crisis calls on weekends. I kept things stable while the department restructured around me. In November, my boss thanked me publicly in a team meeting. He called me the backbone of the accounts division, said the company was lucky to have someone so reliable. People clapped. I nodded and went back to my desk. I didn't need applause. I just needed to be paid what I'd earned. When the bonus pool was finalized in early December, I was listed among the recipients. My boss sent an email confirming I'd qualified. He said the exact amount would be communicated by payroll once approvals were complete. I waited. On December 9th, payroll sent the confirmation. The subject line was Year-End Bonus Notification, Action Required. I opened it immediately. The email was clean, official, formatted with the company logo at the top. It listed my name, my employee ID, my department, and my bonus amount, $12,000. The payout date was December 15th. All I had to do was confirm my direct deposit information, which I did within minutes. I saved the email. I forwarded it to my personal account as a backup. I added the payout date to my calendar. $12,000. Not life-changing, but significant. Enough to pay off the car. Enough to breathe a little easier. Enough to feel like the 8 years of loyalty had meant something. December 15th came and went. No deposit. I checked my account 3 times that day, refreshing the balance like it might change if I stared long enough. Nothing. I figured it was a processing delay. Banks get slow during the holidays. I gave it 2 days. On December 17th, I emailed payroll. Polite, professional, just asking for confirmation that the payment had been processed. The response came back within an hour. Your bonus is currently under review. We'll update you shortly. Under review. I read the phrase 5 times, trying to understand what it meant. Under review for what? I'd already been approved. I'd already confirmed my information. What was there to review? I followed up 3 days later. This time, the response was even vaguer. Processing delays due to year-end volume. Please allow additional time. I followed up again on December 28th. No response. I followed up on January 3rd after the holiday break. The reply was a single sentence. Your request has been forwarded to the appropriate team. Every email was calm, measured, professional. I didn't demand. I didn't threaten. I just asked when I could expect the payment I'd been promised in writing. And every response gave me nothing. Back at the holiday party, HR reaches me just as I'm setting my untouched champagne on a passing tray. She keeps her voice low, her smile fixed in place like we're discussing the weather. Desmond, Can I pull you aside for just a second? Something quick. I follow her to a quieter corner near the coat check, away from the music and the crowd. She doesn't waste time. I need you to forward me that confirmation email. The one from payroll about your bonus. Can you send it to my personal email? Not the company address. I pull out my phone and do it immediately, right there in front of her. I attach the original email, the follow-ups, and screenshots of the confirmation showing the amount and payout date. I send it to the Gmail address she gives me. Her phone buzzes seconds later. She opens the email, scrolls through the attachments, and her jaw tightens. "Thank you," she says quietly. "Please don't discuss this with anyone tonight. I'll handle it Monday." She walks away before I can respond. I don't stay much longer. The party feels hollow now, the laughter too loud, the celebration forced. I grab my coat and slip out early, driving home in silence. My phone sits on the passenger seat, the sent email still open on the screen. I keep replaying the moment my boss asked about the bonus, the look on HR's face, the way she pulled me aside like she'd just remembered something catastrophic. At home, I sit at my kitchen table and open my laptop. I pull up every email I've sent about the bonus. I organize them chronologically. I take screenshots of the confirmation, the follow-ups, the vague responses. I create a folder and label it Bonus Documentation, December 2024. I don't know what happens next, but I know I need everything in one place. At 11:47 p.m., my phone buzzes. It's an email from HR's personal address. The subject line is blank. The message is 3 words. Got it. Thanks. I close my laptop and go to bed. Sleep doesn't come easy. Monday morning, the meeting invite appears in my calendar at 8:14 a.m. Compensation review, 10 a.m., conference room B. The attendees list includes HR, my boss, and someone from finance I've never met. At 9:52 a.m., the invite updates. Legal has been added. I arrive at 9:58 a.m. with a printed copy of every email I sent over the past 2 months. The room is cold, the fluorescent lights harsh. HR is already seated, her laptop open, her expression unreadable. My boss sits across from her, fidgeting with a pen. The finance representative is a woman in her 50s with reading glasses perched on her nose. Legal is a younger guy in a sharp suit, his notebook open, his face neutral. HR starts. "Desmond, thank you for coming. We're here to address the issue with your year-end bonus. Before we go further, I need to confirm some details. When did you first realize the payment hadn't been processed?" I slide the printed emails across the table. December 17th. That's when I sent my first follow-up. HR picks up the printouts and scans them slowly. Her face remains neutral, but I see her jaw tighten as she reads. She passes them to finance, who adjusts her glasses and frowns. Legal leans over to read along, his pen hovering over his notebook. "And you received confirmation of the bonus amount on December 9th? HR asks. "Yes. $12,000. Payout date was December 15th. I confirmed my direct deposit information the same day." Finance flips through the emails. "Who responded to your follow-ups?" "Various people from payroll. The names are in the emails." Legal writes something down. My boss hasn't said a word. He's staring at the table, his pen clicking rhythmically. HR glances at him, then back at me. "Desmond, I need to ask, who did you discuss this with before Friday night?" "No one. I assumed it was a processing delay. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it." She nods slowly, like that's the right answer. "And you have all of these emails saved?" "Yes. Along with the original confirmation and my performance sign-offs from earlier in the year." Finance sets the printouts down and looks at HR. "This isn't a processing delay. The funds were reallocated." The room goes silent. Legal stops writing. My boss's pen stops clicking. HR closes her eyes briefly, like she's bracing for what comes next. I don't move. I don't ask questions. I just wait. Finance continues, her voice careful. In mid-December, there was a budget overrun in another department. To cover it, discretionary funds were pulled from the bonus pool. Several approved bonuses were delayed or reduced pending a secondary review. Who authorized that? Legal asks. Finance hesitates. It was handled at the director level. The reallocation was supposed to be temporary, with affected employees notified and repaid by January 15th. I look at my boss. He won't meet my eyes. HR leans forward. Desmond, were you notified of this reallocation? No. Did anyone contact you to explain the delay? No. Every follow-up I sent was either ignored or deflected. Legal writes faster now. HR's expression hardens. HR turns to my boss. Did you know about the reallocation? He clears his throat. I was told some bonuses were being delayed for review. I wasn't given names. I assumed payroll would handle notifications. But you asked Desmond on Friday if he'd spent his bonus. His face flushes. I thought the review had been completed. I thought everyone had been paid by now. Finance interjects. The reallocation list included 4 employees from this department. Desmond was one of them. Notifications were supposed to go out on December 20th. But they didn't, legal says flatly. No, finance admits. There was a miscommunication between payroll and department leadership. I speak for the first time since the meeting started. I have every email I sent. I have the dates, the times, the responses. I followed up 6 times. Someone knew I was asking. The room grows tense. HR exchanges a glance with legal. My boss stares at his hands. Legal closes his notebook. I need copies of everything you just showed us. Every email, every confirmation, every response. I pull a USB drive from my pocket. It's all here, including screenshots showing when each email was sent and received. He takes it without comment. HR looks at finance. Was the reallocation authorized under company policy? Finance hesitates. The budget flexibility exists, but the process requires written approval from the CFO and documented notification to affected employees. I don't believe either happened. So this was an unauthorized reallocation, legal says. Finance doesn't answer directly. I'll need to review the approval chain. HR stands. Desmond, thank you for your time. We'll need to discuss this internally and get back to you. I stand as well. When should I expect the payment? She meets my eyes. Soon. I'll personally ensure it's prioritized. The meeting ends at 10:41 a.m. I walk back to my desk in silence, the printed emails still in my folder. Around me, the office hums with normal Monday energy. People laugh at their desks, compare weekend stories, complain about emails. No one knows what just happened in conference room B. At 2:17 p.m., my boss walks past my desk without stopping. At 3:04 p.m., HR sends a calendar hold for later that afternoon labeled Follow-up Discussion, Private. At 4:38 p.m., I'm called back to a smaller conference room. This time, it's just HR and legal. Legal speaks first. The reallocation was not properly authorized. The funds were moved without CFO approval, and notification protocols were not followed. This constitutes a violation of internal controls. HR adds, your bonus will be processed immediately. You should see the payment within 24 hours. I nod. And the other 3 employees who were affected? They'll be contacted and paid as well. Legal leans forward. We need to document this incident for compliance purposes. That means a formal review of how the reallocation happened and who made the decision. HR hands me a printed letter on company letterhead. It's dated today and signed by her and the CFO. The first paragraph is an apology for the administrative error. The second paragraph confirms my bonus amount and states it will be paid immediately. The third paragraph includes an additional payment of $1,200 labeled Error Remediation and Inconvenience Adjustment. I read it twice. The total is $13,200. 10% more than I was owed. I look up. What's the adjustment for? The delay, the miscommunication, and the failure to notify you properly, HR says. It's also acknowledgement that you had to escalate this yourself when the system failed you. Legal adds, this letter serves as formal documentation that the error was ours, not yours. If there are any questions in the future, this protects you. I fold the letter and put it in my folder. Thank you. HR's expression softens slightly. I'm sorry this happened, Desmond. You shouldn't have had to chase what you'd already earned. The next morning, I check my bank account at 7:22 a.m. The deposit is there. $13,200. Posted overnight. I stare at the balance for a long moment, the confirmation letter still sitting on my desk at home. It's real. It's done. At 9:15 a.m., HR sends a company-wide email about bonus payments. The tone is careful, professional, almost apologetic. It reminds employees to confirm their direct deposit information and to reach out immediately if there are any discrepancies. It includes a new escalation process for compensation issues, with specific contacts and timelines. The language is deliberate. Someone higher up approved every word. At 11:03 a.m., my boss stops by my desk. He doesn't sit. He doesn't stay long. I'm glad they sorted that out for you. I'm sorry it took so long. I look up from my screen. Thanks. He nods once and walks away. The conversation feels incomplete, like there's more he wants to say but can't. I don't push. I go back to work. 3 days later, I'm copied on an email thread I wasn't expecting. It's from the CFO to department heads, outlining new controls for budget reallocations. Any movement of approved compensation funds now requires written approval, documented notification to affected employees within 48 hours, and quarterly audits to ensure compliance. The language is dry, corporate, but the intent is clear. This can't happen again. At the bottom of the email, there's a note. This policy update is in response to recent internal control findings and applies to all departments effective immediately. I forward the email to my personal account and archive it. I don't celebrate. I don't gloat. I just save it as evidence that something changed. That afternoon, Finance sends a follow-up confirming that all 4 affected employees have been paid in full, with error remediation adjustments. The issue is closed. 2 weeks later, there's a quiet shift in the organizational chart. My boss is no longer listed as having oversight on compensation approvals for the department. That responsibility has moved to a centralized team under finance. The change isn't announced. There's no email. It just appears one morning when I'm reviewing the updated org chart for a client project. I ask a colleague in finance about it casually. She shrugs. They're tightening controls after some audit thing. Probably nothing major. I don't correct her. I don't explain what the audit thing was. I just nod and move on. My boss doesn't mention the change. In meetings, he's quieter, more careful with his words. The easy confidence he used to carry has dulled slightly. He still runs the department, still makes decisions, but something has shifted. The power he had to move money around, to decide whose bonus got delayed or approved, is gone. I wonder if he knows I'm the reason. I wonder if HR told him. I don't ask. It doesn't matter. At the next all-hands meeting in late January, the CFO presents a slide titled Operational Excellence and Internal Controls. He talks about transparency, accountability, and ensuring that every employee is treated fairly. He mentions the new compensation protocols without naming specifics. He emphasizes that leadership's job is to protect the integrity of the systems, not bend them for convenience. The room is full of nodding heads. People take notes. Someone asks a clarifying question about the audit timeline. The CFO answers smoothly, professionally, like this was always the plan. I sit in the back row, listening. No one mentions the holiday party. No one mentions the 4 employees whose bonuses were delayed. No one mentions my name. But I know. HR knows. Legal knows. And somewhere in the chain of command, Someone learned that cutting corners has consequences. After the meeting, HR catches my eye across the room. She nods once. I nod back. The conversation we're not having is louder than anything said on stage. By February, the incident feels distant. The bonus is spent. The controls are in place. The org chart has settled. My work continues as it always has. Steady, reliable, invisible until it matters. I manage my accounts, hit my metrics, keep things stable. The recognition I wanted back in June doesn't feel as important anymore. But something has changed. When I send emails now, I get responses. When I ask questions, I get answers. There's a new awareness, a subtle shift in how people engage with me. Not fear. Not deference. Just respect. The kind that comes from knowing someone won't let things slide. In early March, I'm invited to a meeting about next year's compensation framework. My boss is there. HR is there. Finance is there. They ask for my input on bonus structures, on payout timelines, on notification protocols. I give it. They listen. They take notes. It's not an apology. It's something better. It's acknowledgement that my voice matters. December rolls around again. The holiday party is in the same hotel ballroom, the same string lights, the same forced cheer. I arrive late, slip in quietly, grab a drink from the bar. The music is too loud. The conversations are predictable. I'm standing near the same appetizer table as last year when my boss approaches. He's more sober this time. More careful. He raises his glass in a small toast. Good year, Desmond. Solid work. I nod. Thanks. He doesn't ask about my bonus. He doesn't joke about spending money. He just stands there for a moment, then moves on to the next conversation. The interaction is brief, professional, unremarkable. HR is across the room, chatting with someone from marketing. She glances over at me once, a quick look, and I see the faintest hint of a smile. Not celebratory. Just acknowledgement. We both know what last year was. We both know what this year isn't. I finish my drink and leave early. No one stops me. No one asks where I'm going. I drive home in silence, the city lights blurring past. At home, I think about the difference a single question can make. My boss asked if I'd spent my bonus. I froze. HR froze. And in that moment of shared panic, the truth came out. Not because I demanded it. Not because I threatened anyone. But because the system broke in public, and breaking in public meant it had to be fixed. I didn't sabotage anyone. I didn't leak information. I didn't file complaints or make threats. I just documented what happened, answered questions honestly, and let the company's own policies do the work. The leverage I had wasn't anger. It wasn't revenge. It was just the truth, preserved in emails and screenshots and time-stamped confirmation letters. The bonus I earned was always mine. The system just forgot. And when the system forgets, someone has to remember. Someone has to keep records, follow up, refuse to let things disappear quietly. That someone was me. I learned that institutional memory isn't just about knowing how things work. It's about making sure the truth survives long enough to matter. They thought they could delay my payment, bury my follow-ups, and move on. They learned that quiet persistence is harder to ignore than loud complaints. Next year, I'll get my bonus on time. The controls are in place. The oversight exists. And somewhere in the background, the story of what happened last December is written in policy updates and org chart changes. No one will tell it at parties. But everyone will live with its consequences. And that's enough.